Okay, so this is my review of the Fayee FY801 quadcopter. Just turned up from GearBest. Quite nice packaging. I mean, I like blue anyway, so it's a good colour for me, and quite a smart looking quad. The thing I was interested in on it is it can fly inverted, so you can flip it 180 degrees and then it will fly upside down. And I'm just quite interested in that, just see what it does that's different. So let's get it unpacked and see what you get for your money. It's well packaged, actually turned up this time without any damage to the box as well, which I was rather pleased with. And there we go. So we've got the main quad, and then underneath got the controller and all the other bits and pieces. So first of all, let's unpack the quad and have a look at that first of all. Yeah, quite nice. Actually feels robust at the hand, which is good, and I quite like the look of it as well. I do like black quads anyway. I think they look smart. Interesting thing, it's got on the battery, it's just a single cell, and it's a 350. Obviously at 3.7 volts. Brilliant, because then you can swap it over, because I've got a H6C which will take similar batteries, I'm sure, so I should be able to swap that over. Interesting design, as I say. It's can fly inverted, so basically normal flight is this way up and then it can fly this way up, but the prop guards are actually designed so that if it comes down like that, it's not actually going to damage the props. So it's a slightly different design here than what we normally have. Normally they're obviously running level, and blue at the front, black at the back. So yeah, quite impressed with the actual design of it. Looks good. We'll see what the LEDs are like when we turn the lights on and get the battery charged, obviously. And the other thing in the box is the controller, and we'll run through what all the buttons do. These are obviously going to be trim buttons. It's not too bad a feel. Let me just turn that around the other way. No, actually, that feels quite nice in the hand. I would say a little bit more geared for the thumb user rather than the pincher. I tend to pinch quite a bit, but I like flying slow, so I just find that a little bit more control, but we'll see. But actually, I didn't think I'd be that impressed with it, but it's a similar design to the Nano ones, but actually feels a lot better in the hand, so that's good. So I need a screwdriver to pop the back off, and obviously you don't get the batteries with it, as you tend not to with most of these quads. And here's the other part of the package. So we've got charger, I assume, yep. So USB charger for the battery, which is good. Nice thing about having a removable battery is you can then pop in another battery and keep flying while this one's charging. So we'll see how long that takes to charge. The usual small screwdriver, which is great, a little Phillips screwdriver, so you don't have to go hunting around, you've got it with this one. And then a complete set of spare props as well. So interested, the flying inverted just intrigues me, so that because obviously the props are going to then work the other way, so yeah, we'll see. It should be good. The other thing we got is the actual instructions, and they're actually all in English, which is rather good. Certainly good for me to be in English anyway. And we go through to then Chinese, I would imagine, at the back here as well. So I'll have a read through that while we're charging it up, and then we'll run through exactly what I think of that. Okay, so let's get that battery on charge. One little tip for these kind of batteries, when you put them into the back of your quad, and then obviously we're connected up, but this one isn't charged yet, the tendency is to try and pull them out with the cable, which is not a good idea. So I did see another YouTuber who actually, or I've seen it a couple of times now, they actually put a bit of tape round, and I've adopted doing that on my single cells that are used in these sort of quads, all the small quads. it's a brilliant idea. Just gives you enough grip to get it out, and this is just ordinary sellotape, so it's nice and slippy, so it doesn't actually get stuck in the back of the quad. I think if you used insulation tape or something like that, it probably would be a little bit tight for it. So it's not going to affect the flight, it's just going to blow that out of the way. There's absolutely no weight added, but it is a brilliant way of getting in and out with your batteries. So there we go. So to charge the battery, simply plug in the USB into either a USB charger that you've got for your phone, or you can plug it into a computer, what it's designed for as well. Simply slide in the connector, and then obviously turn it on. And if it's needing charging, you don't get any LED while the battery's on charge. We'll just pop the batteries into here. There we go, and it's AAA's on this one. Most of the smaller ones tend to be AAA's. This one actually just takes 3. So there we go. And then pop that back in. That doesn't actually clip in. Sometimes I don't bother putting the screw in if it does clip in, but actually that one's not. It is just going to drop out. So we will use the screw. It's probably good practice too anyway. So the transmitter will keep working so long as the batteries don't drop out, but for the sake of just doing it, we'll just pop this back together properly. And there we go. That's all good. I do like the feel of this. For a small quad, I actually quite like it. I think it's good so far. And there we go. Let me just make sure the batteries aren't working. And then when it's charged, you get this red LED, and that means you can stop it and you're all ready to fly. Okay, so battery's fully charged, all ready to go. Make sure you've got the prop guards on. It does come with them, but if you're flying for the first time or flying any new quad, you really ought to have the prop guards on. So make sure the cable on the quad is up to the top. Slide this in underneath, and it's quite a tight fit, snug fit. I wouldn't say it was tight. And then that way round with the cable from the battery out to the right, and that means that you can connect it up nice and easy. You're not twisting anything. That's well out of the way of your props as well. You get the fast flashing LEDs, which means it's ready to be bound to the transmitter. Simply turn on the transmitter and you get those little beeps, and then it starts to flash very slowly on the actual quad to tell you that it's ready to actually bind. And to bind this one, you literally just go up on the accelerator, right up to the top, down to the bottom, and it beeps each time you go up and down, and that means it's all ready to go. It always starts in low rate, which is brilliant, because that's the best way to start really. You don't really want to start in high rate. Even if you stop in high rate, when you go to restart, if you turn the transmitter off, when you turn it back on, it'll always revert back to low rate as well. So there we are, let's go flying. And it's got 3 modes, so low, medium and high. It'll always start in low mode, which is quite good, certainly for a beginner. And it's nice and gentle. And then to increase the modes, on the left button, you just press it down, and then that takes it into medium, and that gives us a bit more speed with it. So the turn is faster, as you can see, and the roll and the pitch is a bit faster as well. But still nice and gentle, easy to fly. If you want to flip it, and you can flip it in any mode, you simply on the right button, and then it changes it so it's now flying inverted. So the controls work the same, blues at the front and blacks at the back. Still the same thing. It's quite cool actually that way up, and it doesn't really alter it that much. I'll give it, let's take it up onto 3. There we go. So we're now in high rate, so it's got a lot more go in it, much faster all round really, but still not ridiculously fast. It's not a sports model, that's for sure. And just to see how it goes, I'll give it full throttle and inverted. And we've got the flashing LEDs. this model, the LEDs come on really early. Had a couple of goes with it, and it really does. But I will now get about a minute, if not a minute and a half, of more flying. The only thing it won't do is if I click the button, it will not flip over again. So, and speed-wise, let's just take the rates up and see what she goes like with the prop guards off. Up the right way this time. That's a fair old height. I stand at the house. I'll put it up in 3, just in high rate, sorry. That's 2 and that's 3, so it's quite good, it gives you the beeps. If we go up to the fence at the end, or the hedge at the end, that's just getting on for 30 metres from where I'm stood. So she's no trouble at all down there. When we go this way, it's over 30 metres, so once we get to the trees, hope we don't get a flyaway. No, God, that's good. That's a good range. It's 100 foot, so. Yeah, it's quite a nice flyer. Yeah, that's good. As you notice, you will get a lot better performance without the prop guards on. You'll also get better time as well, so it's good. Let me just show you. The thing I like about these prop guards is they're good, but they protect all round. So if you're flying indoors, this isn't going to get hurt. But the nice thing is, when we invert it, so this would be the same if you went on the ceiling. You can see it's not going to, doesn't affect the props or anything. Quite accurate with how you can fly, which is good. And with the prop guards on, of course, if it does get caught in anything, which I'm bound to do, there we go. It just gets bounced off. Kill the throttle if you do get anywhere near grass or anything. And then here's an interesting thing. If I put it up the other way, it should know that it's upside down and take off. So that's brilliant. There we go. So it knows the difference, which is good. Alright, so those prop guards are good. You can bang it down quite hard. There's no problem. There we go. That's the LEDs. We've got red at the front and then blue at the back, which is quite normal. And then I'll just flip it over. Okay, so what did I think of the Fayee FY801? Pretty impressed actually. I liked the design originally. When I first saw it, I thought it was rather nice, and I do think the construction is good on it. It seems to be a pretty good plastic. Very impressed with the prop guards. They're a little bit different, but they really work. I haven't had any problems with it at all. I've flown this quite a few times now before I've done this summary, just so that I can, give it a few little knocks and things, and absolutely fine. I haven't had to change the props or anything. I like the fact you can just pop them off, and it doesn't. You don't have to take the props on and off, so that's quite good. You're not wrenching the motors or anything. Like the fact it's got a removable battery, so that we can use another battery, so you can get out flying again rather than wait. It's just over an hour it takes to charge on the charger, so that's quite a while. Just to show you the size of it in comparison to a CX-10, so it's a nano quad, it's a micro quad. You can see quite a bit of difference in size there, so, and characteristics as well are different. On to the controller, and this is a CX10 controller, so not hugely bigger than it on you know, a larger quad, but that's fine. The trim buttons do work, which is good. They're not just fake, and I found the controller quite good. Certainly went way over 100 feet, so I was impressed with that, and I didn't get any fly off at all, which was good. Which basically means that you get to a range and it will just keep on flying, and you then lose total control of it. When I did get this out, and I don't actually know the distance, but I did get a drop out, basically the quad hit the ground, which is a good thing. That means you can just walk over to it and either reconnect it back up or just pick it up. So that's good. I didn't like the fact that the battery warning gave you so much time afterwards, but that's just a personal thing again, but that's the idea of the reviews. They're personal views on them. Another thing about the controller was I'm actually a pincher when I fly. You're either a pincher or a thumber, I think they call you. If you come from playing games, I think that's the thumbs is usually the way to do it. I just find more control and more precise by using my finger and thumb to pinch. That's why they're called pinchers. I did find this, for me, I'm just pushing down. It just didn't feel quite right. So what I found was that if I just pop these off, and they do just slide off, there's no screwing in or anything, that was much better for me. So I actually found that really smooth, no trouble at all. And then just to take that on a stage further, I found a couple of these in the garage, just in the workshop. I think they're used for spacers or something in computer parts, but any little bit of plastic or a little bit of wood, if you are a pincher and you want a little tip of how to do this, this is all I did, and then that felt really good. I then had lovely control over it, so I had nice small things to get a hold of, and the control was really nice and precise, and I didn't feel that I was over the top of the controller. So very personal thing. I'm sure most people will find it okay, but that's what I found to improve it. What else would I alter on it? I think the actual quad could do with a bit more power when it's up on the high rate. It could do with a little bit more turn, a little bit more performance, but it's aimed at a beginner's market, so I think it's perfect for that. But it's just when you've been flying a while, you want a little bit more. But certainly you don't want that when you're starting. So all in all, I think it's a great little quad. Had lots of fun with it, and do like the fact that it flies inverted. So thanks very much for watching, and keep an eye out for the next reviews.